Hey y'all, welcome to Remote Viewing Investigations with Jessica. I'm your host, Jessica Jones. We'll be peering through the veil to shed light on mysterious cases from all over the world. We invite you to join us on this magnificent journey through space and time to try to unravel these mysteries. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up, share this out, and subscribe to Texas Front Porch and to my channel, The Cryptid Huntress, on YouTube. You can find us on Odyssey Radio and iHeartRadio and can contact us at Texas Front Porch on Facebook or email us at paracryptidencounters@gmail.com and oracleofthesouth@gmail.com. You can reach us through text at 972-559-0988. If you'd like to support us in what we do here, our super chats are open. Thanks and enjoy the show. Hey y'all, welcome into Remote Viewing Investigations with Jessica. I'm your host, Jessica Jones, and I am so glad y'all are here with me tonight because I have remote viewed something very near and dear to me. It's actually near and dear to a good friend of mine, okay? And this event, thank goodness, did not happen to me, but it did happen to Tex Wesson of Texas Front Porch. Now, before we get into tonight's show, I would love for you guys to please follow me on my social media sites at The Cryptid Huntress. Also, you guys go to my website, and all my shows are located there. You can sign up for my email list and get all my updates, and have a shop there if anyone would like to get a personal reading with me. And yeah, you guys visit my shop, War Woman Goods, as well. It really supports what I do here, and I really appreciate it. Also, if anyone is interested in getting the full, raw, remote viewing data of the show, all the stuff that I do on these shows, you can join my Patreon, okay? And that is The Cryptid Huntress on Patreon. So all that's on the scrolling information below. So you guys please go do that. It really helps out, and you'll have access to information that I don't discuss on the show. You know, there's a lot of things that are a little too gory or a little too out there to really talk about, or, you know, sometimes we just don't have time to discuss all of my information. So yeah, you guys go join my Patreon. Thank you very much. And so tonight we have a very interesting story out of Brown Springs, Oklahoma. Okay, back in 2017, Tex Wesson and his research partner were doing some Bigfoot, Dogman field research out there, paranormal field research. And this place is pretty dark, pretty scary. And the guys ended up having possibly some missing time. And it's something that Tex has always wondered about, and felt like something really happened to them that day. And I'm going to bring up Tex because I want him to tell the story, and I don't want to get it wrong. So everyone, welcome to the show, Mr. Tex Wesson.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey, Tex. Hey. Well, you know, I remote viewed your missing time event, and, you know, just to, first of all, to see if you really had missing time, or maybe you guys had just kind of lost track of time, right? Yeah. So I looked into that this week. And I got to tell you, something interesting happened to you. So why don't you tell the audience exactly what you remember from that day?
Well, we got there about 8:30 in the morning, and we headed down into the bottoms, and we took off in one direction and east, I believe, or south, east. And we was walking along, you know, and we found a big tree twist that I've talked about. It was probably 8 inches in diameter. I couldn't fit both hands around it, and it was a live oak tree, and it had been twisted till it just exploded. Mm-hmm. And the thing, we looked all over for tool marks, track marks, the whole 9 yards. We couldn't find anything, and you know, it was surrounded by little dead saplings about this big around, and they weren't touched. But this live oak tree was still alive and had been twisted, and it just exploded. And it was about 3 feet off the ground where the break was, and it was just laid over into another tree. And that was something interesting we found. And I had left I had a compass with me, and I had left a compass in a hollow log. And then we said, well, we got talking about being pretty hungry. And we said, well, it's probably about noon. So just go ahead and head back. And I try to make it a habit when I'm out there not to look at my clock because I'm not worried about it, And so we headed back, and we missed the turn to go walk up to the truck, the trail that goes up to the truck. And we missed it by about a quarter of a mile. So we was like, man, we should have come across that by now. What's going on? So did we pass it? We got to looking around. I said, well, I don't recognize any of these landmarks. And I hadn't been out there very much. And so we turned around, we walked back, and we found it. And that's how we figured out that we had passed it by about a quarter of a mile.
Mm-hmm.
When we got back up the truck, it was like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the evening. And we thought it was about 11 o'clock in the morning, noon. So we missed a lot of time. We missed picking he was supposed to pick kids up, and I think we missed that, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it was, but it was like, well, maybe I guess we just lost track of time. I don't know, we just, and then I went back to the house with him, and I can't remember if we did it that day or maybe it was another time. I think it was another time I went back up to his place, and he goes, because we had talked about it, and he goes, man, they're not going to believe this footage. He said, one, when a lot of people that if you film with a camera, digital camera, it's in order. It's in sequence, when you stop and start, it's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The number sequence was all jacked up. It was scrambled. And the footage was something or somebody had a hold of the camera and it was running through the woods. And that's one thing I don't do. I don't run. And neither one of us, we hadn't been off each other's hips. We never lost sight of each other.
Mm-hmm.
But something or somebody had this camera and they were running through the woods and they'd spin around and neither one of us were in sight. So we don't know what that's when we, well, this is weird. We didn't, but we felt no ill effects, no nothing. So we never knew what happened, and it took a while for us to actually talk about it publicly. And we never could figure out what was going on. And then I got talking to you about it, and it's an interesting target, because I never knew anybody that had the skill set that you do. So It was a prime opportunity to get this looked into, especially with somebody that I trust, that's not going to pull my, jerk my chain around. So you beamed in on it, and there we are.
I did. Well, let me tell you, this is, I remote view everything from missing people to cold cases, okay, and to cryptids, dog man, Bigfoot,
Right.
lizard man, all that stuff. And when it comes to a friend of mine having missing time, it kind of hits a little different, because I really, I really pay attention to all of these targets, and I take them very seriously. But this is something that I was, really concerned about, because this seems like this has probably affected you even subconsciously, And so I wanted to get this right. Okay. And I wanted to make sure that you weren't just, forgetting. Maybe you just lost track of time. I mean, were you guys even wearing watches that day, or you didn't even check your time?
No, we just didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, for some reason, we just didn't even check on it. Like I said, I normally don't even worry about it. I don't carry nothing but my phone. And if I'm not recording something with my phone, it stays in my back pocket pretty much.
Yeah.
And even if I do have audio going, I've got it in my shirt pocket,
Oh, yeah.
But I tend, when I get out like that, I kind of unplug, and I try not to, spend a lot of time on looking at my phone, because that's not what I'm looking at. It's not what I want to look at. It's not what
Exactly.
I'm looking for. So
Well, Well, as a researcher, you're out there to experience and to listen
Right,
and to pay attention to your environment, not to check your daggum phone, right? I
right.
understand that. I don't even have service out in the woods where we go.
I mean,
Um,
when I'm out there, I tend to let the sun tell me the time, you know.
mhm.
So
Yeah, which is interesting because you guys were so off that day. It was not
yeah,
normal. Okay, it was not normal at all. Well, I can say, Tex, that I remote viewed this earlier this week, and my results were so um, it was a little disturbing, to be honest with you. So I actually contacted you to see if you were wanting me to go ahead and reveal those to you early so you could process what I came up with. Okay.
right,
And so I want to let the audience tonight know that I did give you the option of hearing my results early because you wanted me to surprise you. However, the results are so um, I don't want to say just disturbing, but so shocking that I wanted you to have time to process. Okay, what I was going to tell you. So, in the case of missing time, a lot of people feel like they might have had missing time, but a lot of people just aren't sure. Okay,
right.
and I know in my case, I've experienced missing time out in the field. My research partner and I on an expedition one weekend, our equipment was malfunctioning. We had ET encounters, we had UFOs, we had Bigfoot activity, and our equipment, mine went forward an hour and his went backwards an hour. And so it was just very discombobulating to both of us. And we did remote view that. And there was a little ET involvement. Okay. Now, Tex, with your case, you were not imagining anything. Okay. You actually did have missing time, and it was for quite a while. All right. And I'm going to just go ahead and let the audience know tonight that Tex did have ET involvement in this case. Okay. And it was very shocking to you when it happened, and you don't remember it because they pretty much wiped your memory of it. Okay. Now, you were taken up to a ship, actually, and you. It was the typical abduction type of a case. Okay, at Brown Springs. All right. Um, there was in a flash of light, like lightning, like thunderstruck, lightning hit. Basically, it was just like that. You were zapped up immediately. You were literally zapped up. And as far as your research partner goes, I think both of you guys tried to run, but you couldn't get away from them. They got you.
Right.
Okay. Both of you did attempt to get away, and you don't remember any of this, but it did happen. Okay. So I'm going to say, I got taken, but I also got abducted. But let me tell you, the first thing that I wrote down, one of the first things was fire in the sky, because I saw a fire in the sky, not realizing that is the name of the movie of Travis Walton, who
Yeah.
was taken and has a movie made about him. Okay. I wrote fire in the sky because I was seeing literal fire in the sky, and I wrote that down. Okay. So, of course, I had to find some pictures today. By the way, this is Brown Springs. This is a one picture. Of course, Brown Springs is a very large, you know, uh, area.
Yeah, yeah, it's actually a wildlife preserve. That is actually, but that is a picture of the actual spring where it bubbles up, right at the base of the hill that the cemetery sits on. Now, what a lot of
Okay.
people don't realize is that spring, and we think that has a lot to do with energy coming out of the cemetery too. That spring runs directly underneath the cemetery. So,
Oh, interesting. So, tell me about the cemetery. Is this a Native American cemetery or?
well, it started out that way, and when we get Jason up here, he can explain more about that part of it. But
Okay.
after that, there was a boy named Love, and that's who the county's named after. That's who the wildlife refuge is named after, the whole 9 yards. And he was actually Chickasaw, I believe. And from what we can find out, he owned over 100 slaves, and he used
Okay.
that cemetery for his family. Well, then some other people came along after his day, and some other white folks started using it, and then something just horrible happened. An old boy got a hold of the land, and he built a series of pig pens in the cemetery. because it's set up on top of the hill and it was great for drainage.
Okay.
And couldn't get more disrespectful than that. And actually,
Right.
last time, not last time, I don't think it was the time before last, we was up there. It's become kind of tradition for me to bust my ass once on every outing, at least once. And
Okay.
we was up in the cemetery, and I got my foot wrapped up in something, and I fell down. Turns out it
Hmm.
was hog wire that was buried in the ground.
Oh,
So
wow.
so that kind of lends credence towards that theory too, or not theory, but information that we've gotten. So there's a lot of just dark energy,
There
and we've also
is.
found out from several different sources that we didn't tell them what we were looking for or nothing like that, or what we thought or what we heard from other people. So we got the same story that there's an ancient dark entity
Hmm.
that supposedly watches over or protects that place
Yeah.
or holds the
Yes.
spirits at bay. I don't know.
Okay. There's a
And,
lot more than just that going on there,
right.
Tex. A
But
lot more. And I've,
there's
uh-huh.
also a picture that we took at the bottom of the Brown Springs, and that for the longest time we thought we had caught a picture of a big alpha male Bigfoot back in the shadows of the trees.
Hmm.
But now, after all this other information we've gotten from several independent sources, we think we may have caught this entity that supposedly watches over this place. So, because he measured,
Oh,
we went out
wow.
and took comparison photos and measured, and he was every bit of 13 to 14 feet tall.
Oh my
So,
gosh. Huge.
yeah,
Okay. Well, there's a lot more than going on there than just ghosts and Bigfoot and whatever. There's so much going
uh,
on there. And I've actually remote viewed that place before. When I first met you, Tex,
yep,
I remote viewed the double homicide there, and that had some satanic connotations and, possible dogman stuff going on, werewolves and stuff like that. So, all right. Well, my data was showing me right away. I actually saw it was like in a flash of light, you were gone. Okay. And I think that you were gone first, and it scared the guy that was with you. And I think he took off running. Okay. I think you got zapped. From what I was seeing, you got zapped. You got taken up like a bolt of lightning. He ran, and that's probably him that was carrying that camera. Okay. I believe that was him filming it. And I believe they got him too. Okay. Eventually. But you were taken up, and I think it shocked him. And that's where I'm getting all of the fire in the sky information.
right,
I had to go back and reference a lot of this information because I didn't know what it was. And of course, the fire in the sky is Travis Walton. He was taken right in front of all of his buddies out in the middle of the woods one evening, and yours was during the broad daylight. Okay,
mm-hmm,
um, and you didn't even know that happened to you. Okay, but it did, and I was picking up Blair Witch. Okay, and so if y'all know about Blair Witch Project and how the cameras are shaky and running through the woods, well, I picked up on that, of course, and that kind of thing. But Tech, so you were actually taken into a craft. Okay, and you were kind of used as a specimen. Okay. um, there was a time edit involved, okay, where the time kind of stopped, and then they brought you back. You were up there for a while, but they brought you back and kind of edited the time, okay, you
right,
and your research friend, okay. um, Now, while you were there, it was not a pleasant experience, okay, but it was not with evil intent, okay, but it wasn't pleasant, okay. And if you're okay with me talking about this tonight, we'll go over some of the things that happened.
yeah. Let's go over every
Okay.
bit of it.
Okay. Because, this is actually something that I think a lot of people experience. Some people may have flashbacks of it and they don't understand what happened. And it's very
Right,
traumatic. Okay.
right.
Now, I did already go over this with you. I sent you the information. So you know already. So if there's anything you don't want me to talk about, you stop me. Okay. But I think it's nothing graphic. Okay. But yes, you were hooked. You were put in an examination room. All right. You were laid down on like a cold table, kind of like the whole room was kind of like, it looked metallic, but I'm not sure if it was or not. Um,
It's
and
like
you were naked.
cardboard.
I didn't see you naked. Don't worry. But I know that they had you stripped down. Everybody in there was, okay. That's what they do. And you were hooked up to devices. Okay. And I don't mean like wires coming out of you and things like that, but you were hooked up to some kind of technology. Okay. While you were up there, um, they experimented on you a little bit, and there were vats with liquid in them with organic beings inside of them. Okay. So take that how you will.
Wow.
But when I located I actually saw and I drew a picture of what was in there and the little beings that were working on you. And I looked online today because I drew a picture of it. But let me tell you, I actually saw something that looks almost exactly like what I drew. And it's that. Okay. There were three beings standing over you, kind of working on you. Okay. And when I'm able to do what we call a deep mind probe. Okay. And when I got in the head of one of the beings there, okay, I said, what are they doing to Tex? Like, what are y'all doing to Tex? And it said they're taking samples, they're helping you with your hearing and your clairaudience. Okay. And so for people who don't know what clairaudience is, that is where you can psychically hear stuff. Okay. And I didn't tell you that. Okay. After I did this target. However, right after I got done doing the target Tex, I contacted you and I said, Tex, did you have any noticeable physical differences in your body
Right.
after the experience? And what did you tell me? Do you remember?
Yeah. I said the only thing that I can think of was that when I first met Amy and Laney, Amy's sensitive, very much so. And she said, thank you, back, Mom. Love you too. Um, she said, I heard her in the background. She goes, he's sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I don't know about all that. I just, trust my gut, but
Thanks, God.
I got to where, and I just thought it was me going out there enough and being around everything that was out there so much by myself. But it may not have been. I don't know. You know how I am about this stuff. I just,
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
knowing this stuff, it's just
sometimes it's best not to know. Seriously.
right. But
it's traumatic.
But anyway, it.
I think that sounds like your grandson.
My grandson has visited, but anyway, I got to where when I go out there, I can pretty much just take the vibe in and kind of tell just from the vibe of the place what I'm going to be dealing with. Whether it's just going to be the critters are running around, whether it's going to be I'm going to run into some paranormal stuff, or both, or just nothing. There's distinct different feelings that I get when I go out there.
Well, because you're sensitive.
Well, I guess I don't know.
Well, they listen. If you before, they sure did work on making you sensitive. Okay.
Evidently, that may, but that's the only thing that I can think of that really, changed. I've always been kind of, had a gut feeling about stuff. It's managed to keep me out of trouble sometimes, but this is different. This is being able to tell what's around at a certain time.
Yes.
So
yeah. Well, that is exactly what I was looking for when I asked you that. I was looking to see if you would respond with my psychic abilities have expanded. That was exactly what I was listening for. And that's exactly what you told me, because that was in my data. That was exactly what they did. They upped your ante when it comes to your psychic abilities, Tex. So that was actually a positive thing. Okay. I know it was a very unpleasant experience for you, but you don't remember that experience.
Right.
What they did was they enhanced your psychic abilities while you were up there. Okay. Not only did they do that, but they chipped you. So you have some sort of a chip. Okay. And whether that be a device in your body, I'm not sure. But you did. They downloaded you with a bunch of information as well. Okay. Now they did tell me that you tried to escape. You ran, but there was no escape. That you cannot run from them, is what they said. So, but what they did was they wiped your memory and put you back in place, but the time was just off a little bit. They kind of screwed that up a little bit. Okay, I don't know if they meant to put you back at that time so that you would have an inkling that they took you, perhaps, or if it was an accident. I did not pick up if it was an accident, but everything was as it was supposed to be. Okay. And yes, and I didn't pick up so much on your research buddy. I believe they may have taken him too, but I was more looking for you in that situation, and so I picked up on you and what they did to you. Okay, so it probably is. It could be a little traumatic. That's why I wanted to tell you this before we went live on air in front of all the world. Okay. So yeah, I mean, you had to have had a suspicion though, right, Tex, that this could have happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's going to go through your head, when you have something like this that you can't explain, but I don't, like I said, I don't remember nothing about it. So I really don't have any bad feelings about it or anything like that. Something I didn't expect tonight is I am getting goosebumps and kind of, chills running up down my spine talking about it, because we talked about it off air, I was fine. I didn't have a problem with it,
Yeah.
at all. And,
Yeah.
but I guess, I don't know. I've, of course, been, like you said, processing it over the last few days. And,
Yes.
I guess, it all culminate, getting together here, putting
Yes.
everything together here. It's, it just kind of a whole different feeling, but,
It is.
yeah, but now, like you said, but this ain't where it ends.
It's not. Well, before we go further, I was looking for pictures of things kind of like I was seeing to represent
Mm-hmm.
what I was seeing. Now there's some this is not exactly what I saw, but I said vats of liquid with organic beings in them. This
Right.
is similar to what I was looking at, but of course I don't know where this picture came from. I just found it online.
Right.
But it had beings in it. They didn't look like that, but it was organic
Right.
beings in containers kind of like that. Okay. And you were on a table like that. Okay. It was similar to that. Okay, that is what I was seeing. Also, this is what the craft looked like that you went up inside of. It looked very similar to that. It was Vesica Pisces is what I wrote down. Now that is a term that I don't use. Okay, a Vesica Pisces, which rhymes with Jessica, by the way, I guess. But the Vesica Pisces is the shape of a football. Okay, so it was like a football shape. Kind of. That is the type of craft that you went inside of. Okay. So, but yeah, well, you finish the rest of the story and where it goes, and then we're going to bring up Jason McLean and Rob, Bigfoot Michigan Rob, and we're gonna talk about this a little bit. And I have another target that I did.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, a surprise.
Well, I saw somebody asking about something about causing my hospitalization later. And I don't know that I was put in the hospital a few years later with blood clots, but I don't think that was related. That was kind of my fault for driving up and not be not. Although I did have when I did, they did a blood test on me, and they did say that one side of my DNA was prone to clotting. So that maybe that's something that I don't know why they would mess with that, but I don't know. But
Well, they were actually there to help give you upgrades, Tex.
Mhm.
And this is going to go into my next target because I was curious as to why they chose you. Why did they pick you to go up there? Now that I've established that fact that you were taken and some experiments were done on you and they did take samples and they gave you an upgrade, I wanted to know why. Why you? Okay. And so that's something that I haven't talked to you about yet. Now that information was in my first target as well, but I got a little deeper into it. Okay. And if you'd like to bring up our other co-hosts tonight
Sure.
to talk about this together, because we actually asked them what they thought and what they thought happened to you. We didn't tell them. So they're just now hearing all this for the first time. So let's bring up, first of all, let's see, I've got a whole bunch of comments in here tonight, and I know it's going to be harder to bring them up with our other co-host on, but we'll try. Okay, so I've got Jason McLean of Jason McLean Questions Everything and Serial Papers, and Texas Front Porch, and I also have Bigfoot Michigan Rob here tonight. Welcome, fellas. Hey, y'all.
Howdy.
Hey, I guess y'all are listening backstage?
Yes.
Thanks for having us.
For sure.
Yes. I'm listening.
What do you guys think? I mean, Tex was taken up in a spaceship.
Way off. I was way off on my what I thought.
Just a little bit.
I have to say this. I know Tex for quite a while now, and I'm sure he's flabbergasted because Tex is an open-minded guy. I don't know what his thought process was over the last several years regarding this account. I'm thinking aliens was maybe the last thing on his mind. I could be wrong, but I was certainly way off. And Tex, man, I thought that I had a hell of a counter story. Unfortunately, I think yours takes the cake over mine, my friend.
What actually happened? Yeah.
I think
we won't bring up what you thought it was.
Right. Well,
we'll leave that one.
I'm of the opinion that since yeah. Well, again, I think the impetus is definitely different. I'd like to hear the why, but given my view on ETs, I still think I'm half right. And I think that in between Rob and I being half right, we're completely right between the two of us. So we're good. That being said, does this mean we get to next time we're out gallivanting? I need to bring like a stud finder and see if we can figure out where that ship is in Tex?
Yes, absolutely. He needs to go to the doctor. We need a metal detector. Not that the doctor has a metal detector, but take him to the vet.
Yeah, take him to the. Yeah, it's going to need to be a vet.
That's what I go to.
Time to go to the vet. Yes, go to the vet. We're going to find out. We got to find out where that chip is. There's some kind of chip. Okay. All right. Well, if you guys want to know my second target, I would love to talk about it. Absolutely. Okay. So the second target, I actually was trying to go deeper into why they chose Tex. Why did they take Tex up into that spacecraft? Why did they do experiments on him? Why did they help him? Not they shouldn't. I'm just saying why. Why they help him? And let me tell you, it's actually kind of funny. Tex, no offense, but this is what they said. First of all, there was they had absolute power over you, by the way. Okay. And the quote I got, the first thing I literally heard it was, "We got a big one." That's what they said. I know it's not funny, but that's what they said. It was almost like it was almost like they were trying to exert their power. They're like, "We got a big one. We got a big guy." Okay. So I know I should have told you before I said that, probably.
I love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. So we got a big one. And because they need there's a variety, like they take folks, they actually take people from that location often. Okay. So everyone who goes to Brown Springs, be warned, people are being abducted from there and you'll never know all the time. And thank goodness they brought Tex back. Okay. They brought Tex back. But any person, any human that wanders on this piece of area, this land, is fair game to be taken. Okay. That's what they told me. That's their territory. And anybody that's out there, they commandeer them, whatever that means. I guess they just take them. Okay.
It's another word for abduction.
Okay. They commandeer them. Okay. That's what I heard.
Well, okay. Yeah. Keep talking. We'll come back.
Okay. It's no joke. That's what they do. They're invested in it. And I kept getting stuff like
I was reading Lisa Lou's comment.
throwing back. We caught our limit. That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. There we go. We can pull them up. So, okay. So what I was getting with this is that, they are there to harvest your energy. Okay. There's something about harvesting energy and energetics, and your body is like a battery to them for some reason. And so the human body equals energy. And that's what they were, maybe they were testing, they were doing sampling, but it was something to do with an energy harvest and your body being full of energy and being like a battery. Okay. They took samples. I was picking up on isotopes. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what that would be.
It has to do with radiation.
Okay, well, they're isotopes, and what they were doing was readjusting your path, redirecting you, Tex. They were helping you, giving you upgrades and redirecting you. Okay, perhaps on I don't want to, dare I say, spiritual level?
Can I
don't know.
A question real quick?
Yes. Yes, Rob.
My grade this was, to be honest with you. Was I not supposed to talk? I'm sorry.
No, you can. You just kind of cut out a little bit.
Yeah,
you can talk. Please talk.
Gremlins are back.
You have permission to speak.
I don't know
if your internet will work.
I'm just wondering what the upgrades was all about.
Well, the upgrades were psychic
I'm just
abilities.
wondering about the upgrades.
Yeah, the upgrades were psychic abilities and his hearing. They said they were working on his hearing, his clairaudience, which is hearing things psychically. Like when I was doing a lot of this remote viewing, when I did it, I was literally hearing the voices tell me things to write down. Okay, I was literally hearing it. That's called clairaudience. Okay, it was like there was someone standing in the room telling me these things, and I could hear it. And that's what they said they were giving to Tex. They were upgrading his clairaudience. Yeah, and that's what I did ask Tex right after I did the target. I did contact him. We talked over the phone. I texted him first, and I said, "Did anything physically change on your body? Did you have any physical changes right after this incident?" And he said that his psychic abilities had pretty much gotten better, is what he told me. Not in those exact words, but that's exactly what my data suggested.
I wish they'd have upgraded me with weight loss is what I wish they did.
Yeah. Well, but then you would lose your most attractive qualities, which is your Santa-like presence. Real quick though.
Yeah.
Because I did want to come back to it. I want was the word commandeer, right? Because some people say, well, it's like possession or to abduct somebody specifically, and I knew it was broader. I just couldn't remember the word, so I went ahead and looked it up. It means to officially take possession or control of something, especially for military purposes. But there's two uses. There's two uses here that's really interesting. One, it means to take possession of something without authority, like he hoisted himself onto a table, commandeering it as a speaker's platform. So you're taking something, you don't have the authority to do it, but you're taking it for, again, your own purposes, or to enlist someone to help in a task, typically against the person's will.
Okay. It was against his will. That went against his free will.
Yep.
Yeah. All abductions are against your free will. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But the military purpose, I find...
Military. It makes sense, though, because we don't know what these things are. Now, I did pick up, they were ETs, and it was organic. But now, I was talking to my friend Barry Littleton, who, he's been on, I believe, Brunch of Bigfoot with you guys, and or maybe Texas Front Porch, can't remember. But he's my go-to guy when it comes to ETs. Okay. And he was telling me today, he asked me when I told him that, be sure to tune in tonight, I'm going to talk about what happened to Tex. And he was asking me, well, were these actual ETs or were they trickster spirits or demons pretending to be ETs? Okay. Which is a thing. Okay. And being that they're in Brown Springs, it's a good question, right? Because that's what we're always talking about. Well,
yes.
How do we know what we're dealing with out there? Now, I did pick up they were actual ETs and they did help Tex. Okay. So that would tell me they're helping him. They're not there to torture and hurt him without doing anything to help upgrade him. Okay. So those were actual ETs. All right. But there's a fine line there. They're still taking him against his will.
Yeah. Hey, Tex, I got a quick question,
Yes, sir.
Tex. Can you hear me? I apologize with my computer system getting new ones July 11th. Tex, with these new upgrades, I was thinking, how come you didn't forewarn me that I'd been sitting in the airport for about 8 hours? If I'd had that information, it would have been a much pleasant trip.
Yeah, but we'd have missed out on so many stories.
I had to put some levity in the subject.
Oh, I've been avoiding all the
know.
jokes.
It was
I
great.
really
I
have.
know.
I have.
I had to throw that out there because on a serious note, man, that's crazy.
Guys, well, I'll tell you real quick. I mean, I know a lot of people, and I appreciate all y'all's kind comments. I really do, and I appreciate the jibs too. I mean, I like to think I have a great sense of humor, and y'all are just saying stuff that I'm thinking myself anyway. Because I just picture one of them aliens up there with a fishing pole. Holy crap! What do we got on him?
Throw him back. We got our limit.
He's stripping drag. And then I almost hear one of them says, "We need a bigger boat," but
seriously, that was. Yeah, I had the same thought.
We're going to need a bigger boat, but I'm going to be okay, guys. And I appreciate your concern. I'm going to be all right with this. I've like I said, I've been processing it the last couple of days, and I've had a few years to go over this in my head, and honestly, if that's what they did, and it's been helping me do what I've been doing and helping others, I'm okay with it. So.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Okay. So what I was picking up, Tex, was that, when I was asking, like, why did they choose Tex? Why? Well, what they were saying is they were redirecting you down your path. Okay. You have a big platform, and you may not have 1 million people following you, but there's a lot, and it's growing every day. And you have a very important voice. Okay. A lot of people listen to you. And I was feeling that. I was in the whole session that I did remote viewing this, I was seeing that they were upgrading you for your mission. Okay. If you choose to accept your mission, okay, this was your mission. It's like, this is your path. This is your, I'm going to say spiritual path. I know aliens, ETs, people don't see them as spiritual, but this is in a way kind of your path. Okay. And that's what they were showing me. And they were just guiding you. They were redirecting you. Okay. So it wasn't a negative thing. It was positive.
Well, and it makes it makes sense to me with how strong of the draw that I've had towards that place.
Yes.
And it's because, like I said, when I started going out there by myself, I kind of shot my mouth off, and I'm one of these people that if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, and I shot my mouth off, said, I need to go up there by myself, blah, 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 because it had never been done at that point, and at night. And so I did it, and I think, and this was after the time loss incident. So maybe that's, and I had made the comment about, to y'all when we were all talking about me when I got grounded last year, that I felt, a pull towards this place. And it was not something that I didn't do it just because I said I was going to. I felt like I needed to do it personally, and so that may be part of what, what's going on here. I don't know.
Could be. Well, you know what? I have a very close friend of mine who's like family joining us tonight. And I would love to bring up my good friend, Kristen Payton. She is actually part of my team. She is the person who actually videoed through her FLIR thermal a portal opening up at the Meadow. And Kristen has a lot of experience with, ETs, possible missing time, and all that kind of stuff. And I thought she could be very valuable for our conversation tonight. So, everyone, welcome to the show, Kristen Payton.
Hello.
And the crowd goes wild.
Hey, Kristen. Hey, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, we actually have a big announcement here on Texas Front Porch, everybody. And
Yes,
Tex, if you'll do the honors, let's tell everybody. It's a surprise.
I would absolutely love to. You know, we interviewed Kristen not too long ago. And then the poor thing, everybody talked about how tough she was because we could have rescheduled, and she had lost her voice, and she pushed through and did that interview. But honestly, the chemistry was off the charts with all of us, and she fit right in just like a puzzle piece. And then we met her face to face up in Alabama, and so I went ahead and pulled the trigger and asked her to come and be a part of the team. So she is now going to be a part of the team. She's going to be co-hosting. She's going to start co-hosting when she can, because she is a busy woman. I'll leave it up to you, Kristen, if you want to tell everybody what you got going, because that's your business.
Okay.
But when time allows, she will take either mine or Rob's spot on Brunch with Bigfoot Michigan, Rob, to start out. And then if she has a chance, she'll jump on and co-host with the rest of us every so often as well. Now, when and if her schedule allows and when she's comfortable with it, it's very, very possible that she could start her own show. So, but that's very far down the road. Like I said, that's totally up to her. She feels the same way I do. She doesn't want to commit to something and then not be able to follow through on it. But we're very excited to have her as part of the team. And what makes it awesome is you and Kristen, you and Jessica are actually research partners.
Right.
We are.
So y'all, it's to get a team, not only another area covered, we've also been approached by other a lot bigger researchers than ourselves, more well-known researchers than ourselves, and we've been asked to be on their call tree. So if they get a report in a certain area, we go out and investigate. We go take plasters, our cast, and all that kind of stuff for them. So it enhances our ability to do that. And to have somebody that is boots on the ground and ain't scared of this stuff to get out there and do this stuff, because y'all are two of the toughest women that I know.
Shoot,
guys,
yeah.
I got to tell you, I'm going to tell you right now, don't mess with these pretty girls. They pack. And they know how to use it. So
I hope most women do. I don't know. I'd like to think most women do, but
Kristen, I want to be the first to welcome you aboard and thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm looking forward to this journey. My work schedule is just really crazy, so
Right.
I don't know if I'll be able to make it on as often as I'd like, but I'm going to try my best.
Right.
yeah. Well, Kristen, you got a lot of experience out in the field, and let me tell y'all, she is the toughest woman I know for sure. So she has no fear at all. But
I mean, her main gig is as an assassin, so I mean, she'd have to be pretty tough. Or was I not supposed to say that online? I'm sorry.
No,
not live. Come on.
Not live. I'm
We
sorry.
got code words for that.
I forgot about that.
supposed to be ER nurse. I'm an ER nurse, right?
ER nurse.
Exactly.
Emergencies.
ER.
She's
Right.
emergencies.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this. I just want to thank you guys again.
No, we're happy to have you on.
We're excited. Heck yeah. Super excited. We've only got about 2 minutes. So, Kristen, before we go, uh-oh. Rob, is Rob trying to say something?
He's trying, but it ain't working.
Okay. Okay. Well, listen, we've got about 2 minutes before we have to go with our iHeart and Odyssey radio listeners tonight. Kristen, what do you think about Texas missing time incident?
Wow, I had a little inkling that this may have happened. Reminds me of a similar situation I experienced with another research partner in the woods. So
who's in tonight?
Memories. Yes, it showed on his little GPS tracker that he crossed a creek and he had some missing time. And then went to review the breadcrumbs again, and they were gone. But we all saw where he had apparently did some trekking through the woods that he does not remember, or higher up.
That's right. Well, that's Bob Grumpy Wilson. He's in the chat tonight, and awesome. Yeah, he's in the chat, so he's listening. So I guess maybe on the other side, you guys want to take this through the next hour. We'll take a little break here in about a minute, and we're going to talk about what Kristen's talking about with our teammate Bob disappearing and turning into a little blip on the radar and flying across the GPS as a ball of light. So thank you everybody for tuning in tonight to our iHeart and Odyssey listener, radio listeners. Thank y'all so much for being here. This has been such a great experience so far. We're going to continue this conversation on the other side. So please go to the Cryptid Huntress on YouTube and Texas Front Porch. And we will be there in about 5 minutes. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back on the other side and we're going to talk some more about missing time. So you guys, please join us on the other side. We'll see y'all there.
Bye.
4 minutes to go, folks. 4 minutes. Three minutes. We're almost there. 2-minute warning, guys. 2-minute warning. One minute. 1 minute.
Hey, y'all. Thanks for coming back on the other side. I'm Jessica. This is Remote Viewing Investigations with Jessica, and I'm going to pull up my co-host tonight. We just introduced the newest member of our team tonight, so I'm going to bring back Tex and Jason and the newest member of our team, Miss Kristen Payton. Hey, Kristen. And Rob would be here, but his internet's acting up. So if he pops back in, we'll pull him up. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. Well, everybody, we were actually talking about Texas missing time out at Brown Springs, Oklahoma. Okay. And Kristen was talking about how our teammate Bob turned into a little blip on the GPS, like a little he was like an orb, right, Kristen? Let's talk about that right quick.
I didn't get to see it, but my other teammates who were out in the field with us got to watch him walk across the meadow, casually walking. And from my understanding, he just to a ball of light and zoomed across the field. And the amount of time that it took for him to get from point A to point B, he could not even run that fast. And then he morphed back into Bob. So he was by himself, which kind of alarmed us all because we didn't understand it. We still don't understand it. But yeah, we were able to see him fly through the field.
Yeah. I mean, that was a little bit of missing time. I mean, that is not the first time we've had missing time out in the field. It happens more often than we even realize. And I think a lot of times when people have missing time, we don't even realize that. So I don't know, Tex, do you think that was the only time you would experience that out there, or were there other instances?
Well, I've had so much weird stuff happen out there. I've never missed any more time that I know of. Like I said, I've had so much weird stuff happen.
This may have been the only opportunity, though, for them that they have intervened during a time when you would have noticed the time being missing.
Right. Very, very possible. I mean, as much time as I spent out there by myself at night,
I never know.
Could have happened when I was asleep,
Yeah.
So who knows?
I think it happens to a lot of people when they're sleeping. I mean, the times that I've had ET contact up close was in my bedroom. Okay. Like when I was sleeping at night. So, and I woke up to little things in my room. So,
that may be another target we can look at, You know,
I don't know if I want to know that, Tex.
No, I mean
That's
about me,
fair.
not you.
I don't mind looking at other people, but when it comes to my own experience, I don't think so.
No, you can look and see if they, beam me up more than once if you want. I don't mind.
Yes. Well, it's a weird little gray area there though too, because like Barry Littleton was telling me today, we were talking about this. We have ET, and then we have the military doing special projects as well. And I know this sounds like a conspiracy theory, but what if it's not? What if we have there's technology where you can be basically hypnotized psychically, and people come in and take you, while you're sleeping at night, or when you're out in the woods doing research. I mean, is that another thing we need to add to the list to have to be worried about when we're out in the field?
Well, Tex has famously said that all Brown Springs was missing from being Skinwalker Ranch in Oklahoma was the UFOs. And there we are.
UFOs.
And back to something you mentioned earlier, it's like, well, how do we know that they were, UFO or real ETs versus shapeshifters, those kinds of things. I kind of go back because you're like, well, he's being helped. Okay, but I go back to the fact that you pulled up the word commandeer, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot. And it's that second it's usually used for the military, again, in a military context. That I
or
find,
pirates. I'm just kidding.
Pirates. Well, no. Well, it's actually the same thing. It means the same thing, but it's to enlist someone to help in a task, typically against their will.
Oh.
You said that they were redirecting his life. They were upgrading him for a task they've assigned to him, right?
Yes.
So this does. Yes. It's like, and obviously he's definitely helping people along the way, but it does beg some questions as to what their intents are. Again, you and I disagree a little bit on ET. Yeah. But I think where we do agree is this is definitely a weird situation for him to be in. And I think it's also just the fact that it's here, that they have the permission to do this on that territory.
Yes.
And that at Brown Springs specifically, because that's one of the things Tex was alluding to earlier. The Brown Springs Cemetery was originally an Indian burial mound. And the thing is, the mound builders, particularly the very early mound builders, were Nephilim giants that came here. Now, wasn't everyone in the tribe, but they usually ruled, and they've found, particularly in Oklahoma, when they were doing, before a lot of care was taken in preserving American Indian and First Nations sites, they would bulldoze through some of them for water projects and sewer projects and things like that, and find 8, 9, 10 foot long skeletons all the time. So it's just very, very interesting that we have a whole lot of these overlapping phenomena, and that this event with these creatures happens there, and you're being told this is their territory.
Yes,
right?
That's what they told me.
So it's an awful lot of overlapping phenomena for my taste. There's something going on here.
I absolutely agree with you. Yeah. You have to wonder, like, what kind of treaties have been signed? Is it military? Is it alien? I mean, I clearly was picking up ET with Tex. Okay. I was like the commandeer thing. I mean, but as with the Dyatlov Pass incident that I looked into, that was my first remote viewing show that I did here with you guys. There was military involvement with that, but I was picking up elements of ET involvement. Okay. I didn't really touch on that as much, but there was absolutely ET involvement. Okay. And so I think the ETs do work with our military. Okay. And with these other targets I'm doing with Dogman, for instance, yes, there are dogmen and government things working in conjunction somehow. Super soldiers. There's something going on with all of this. Okay. There's something to it, is all I'm going to say. Well, I haven't put my finger on it.
I think that leads, credence to the reports that we've had that, the dogman creatures or entities, or however you want to look at them, have broken out of these government facilities and destroyed whole villages, whole villages. So, genetic manipulation. I can't even manipulate my words, but genetic manipulation is, no stranger in the circles that we talk, because I mean, if you look at the UK law that they put into effect several years ago, that made it against the law to kill a chimera. Why would they do that? That the only way that makes any sense is if they actually exist.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, one thing I've noticed in a lot of areas I research in, there is a high military presence. I mean, we will be out in the field and all of a sudden you see military people just running up on you and they're like, what are you doing out here? We've actually had someone ask, what are you doing? And they turned and looked at one of the team members and said, exactly what you're doing or exactly what you're looking for. Sounds a little odd. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it leaves it puts a lot on the table for us to look at. It really does.
Well, alluding back to the question about the Dogman thing, Jessica, when we were on, I was on your show a couple weeks ago. We were talking about when we were talking about the Kandahar giant, right? And the fact that there does seem to be that there's government involvement and interest in surviving Nephilim. We went over reasons for it. So I think the simple fact of the matter is there is such consistent military involvement in UFOs, the ET question, question of the Nephilim, high strangeness. They always seem to be popping up. So I think we have to sort of assume at this point that there's just, even if we don't know what the connection is, that there is a deep connection here. It's not just a superficial one. There is involvement, and it seems to go both ways. And we've all interviewed people that have claimed to either have been who we know have been in the military, but then made the claim that they've worked directly with tall whites and some of these others. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, we can't rule it out, can we?
I mean, doing these shows and people getting to know me better, like I may not know them, but a lot of people know me now, apparently. And so, there's a trust building, apparently. And there's also people, there's people contacting me with a lot of information and confirming a lot of my viewing data. Okay. Now, can I trust everyone? Absolutely not. We never know who's contacting us, but I also go with my gut, and there are some credible people out there. Okay. And yes, a lot of what I'm remote viewing, I have gotten serious confirmation about. Okay. Yeah. And yes, there is a lot of government involvement. Okay. And I'm not wrong. So,
and none of us are suicidal, by the way.
I'm not suicidal. I love my life.
Yeah.
I love my life.
We're all very wanting to.
I'm having a lot of fun doing this. I don't have any means to stop.
Just so y'all know, I didn't buy this new hat to be buried in. So just put that out there.
Right.
And I would never commit suicide by shooting off in the back of the head twice in the middle of a field. All I'm ever
exactly.
saying.
Okay.
Right. Well, you know what? And I'll tell you this, and this is no joke, guys. I knew a sheriff's deputy that investigated a murder of a guy that I actually knew. Well, let me back up. Investigated the suicide of a guy that I actually knew. And he told me that I said, man, what happened? And he said, well, he goes, I'll tell you this much. He says, I've never seen anybody commit suicide with their hands and feet hog tied behind their back. I've never seen somebody able to hang themselves like that. So, it happens, folks. It happens. They wrote it off as a suicide.
Wow.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if we were to get too close or stumble upon something maybe we're not supposed to see, what's going to happen to us.
I think a lot of people do, that it's good for us to have a platform to talk about it publicly so people know that we are not suicidal. Okay.
I've always told everybody, my family and everybody, and y'all, if they ever found me all tore up out in the woods, it wasn't no damn bear attack.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to say
now I can't say that because we got damn bears in the area. So that's
yeah.
Well, at least you go out doing what you love, Tex. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Getting mauled by tigers.
But see, now you've got ET protection apparently, because they've got a vested interest in you now, Tex. So you are going to be protected. Okay, protected and redirected.
I'll let y'all know when they issue me my phaser. So, you know.
You're what?
My phaser.
Star Trek
phaser.
Okay.
Yeah. You just outgeeked them.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was. Well, I've got a question for you, Tex. So you've been chipped now. Are you going to hunt for that chip? Would you leave it in, or would you remove it?
Hell, it's been there for so long now. Why bother with it? You know?
Well, it's interesting though to know that you've got that. And
yeah, but what are you going to do? Am I supposed to walk into my doctor's office? I'd like to have a full body MRI to find the chip that the aliens put in me.
I mean, there are people that do that. I mean, there are doctors that would go looking for that.
My doctor might do it, but I don't think my insurance will pay for it.
Well, all I'm saying is
you can dig it out yourself.
That's what I'm saying. I've got a stud finder and a razor blade.
Kit. I've got some lidocaine and a scalpel. We're good.
Chris is an ER nurse, Tex.
There you go.
Yay! Kristen can do it.
Well, I'll tell you what. Next time we're all together, maybe we'll do this because we're talking about all going to Brown Springs together sometime. Maybe one of you bring a good metal detector and Kristen, bring your jump bag and
got it.
Y'all can fillet me open and do whatever you want. Just take some of the fat with you when you go, will you?
I'm there. I've got a combat medical bag, man.
If we're going to do this, we may as well bring the vacuum pump and do some liposuction. So
you bring the moonshine and whiskey. We got the rest.
Well, I got that covered. Don't you worry about that.
I'm talking about for you. You're gonna need it.
Yeah,
I got that covered.
That's what he meant too. Yeah, he meant that too.
Yeah, I was talking about me too. Don't worry.
Oh my gosh! Everybody take a swig. We're gonna cut Tex open.
If that ain't enough, we'll hit Big Bubba's Bud Shot down the road.
Oh my gosh!
Load up on some edibles.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I did not pick up on any probing, Tex. There was no, literally there's no probing. Okay, only chipping. So you got off easy, is all I'm gonna say.
It's like I said, I'm over 50. Probing is part of life. It just don't matter anymore, you know.
Well, I'm glad they brought you back in one piece.
Well, you know, me too, because I'd have missed all this.
Yeah. I know. We're having fun talking about it, but it is serious. I mean, it's a serious subject.
But this is kind of the way I deal with stuff, you know. And if any of the three of you is going to understand this, it's going to be Kristen, because when you deal with dark stuff in your life, you have to develop a morbid sense of humor.
Yeah,
you know. Very much so.
You know, it's. I finally found somebody that I can share trauma pics with and not be thought I was a psycho, you know.
Are you suggesting that hired hitmen have a weird sense of humor in order to compensate for their job? Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't think they need it. That's a difference between a psychopath and a normal person.
Wait, are you suggesting that we don't like pictures of dead cats, Tex? I'm just asking for a friend.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kristen, what do you think? Should I send them the video that I sent you the other day? You think they'd enjoy that?
No, I don't want to see a video of anything. I'm good.
It was pretty awesome. I had to watch it a few times.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Well,
I'm
glad we don't have a video of what happened to Tex that night. But
yes.
Well, I'd like to have a video of what happened to Tex that night. But
yeah.
That'd be interesting. What about hypnosis?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I trust anybody that much.
Well, you know what? Well, your research partner that was with you, you know, he took off running. I think that he got away at first because they snatched you up, and then he ran off, and then they ended up getting him too. Okay, eventually.
Well, I think they knew that Tex don't run.
Yeah. Well, Well, they were obviously they were targeting you, obviously.
It's like the old joke goes, you ain't gotta be faster than the bear that's chasing you. You just gotta be faster than the person in front behind you.
Exactly. That's the same in any kind of research field. Just got to be faster than your partner. So
it's like it's like a Kristen appreciate this one. Which way is the correct way to turn your patient when he throws up?
Away from you.
It's towards your partner.
Yeah, but away from you.
But anyway, no, the humor is how I deal with a lot of stuff, and some people say that humor is used to mask dealing with stuff, but it's not. That's not always the case, because I came out of this evidently. Well, I can't say normal because I'm about as far from normal as you can get, but I came out of this relatively okay. And from what I'm told, I came out of it with possibly a gift that,
yes.
I want to utilize, and I want to be able to help people with it. So if we can get the word out, and I think we're doing a damn good job of that, because we're one of the few groups out there that can talk to people on both sides of the fence and be respected by people on both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
So, we're doing something right, folks. We are doing something right.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not like we don't argue about stuff. We just let everybody talk, and that's how everything should be. That's the way I thought it was until I got into this field, and I got a bunch of, I never got a whole bunch of pushback on my beliefs, and not even my belief, but my experiences, but I understand there are some people that may not agree with me, and that's okay. I don't care.
Right.
But not everybody's experienced what I have, and so we have to accept that. And and I have a tough skin now that I might not have had a few years ago, and that's why I didn't go public. But now, for whatever reason, I'm public. Kristen, she's public. We're all public about our research right now, and and there's going to be pushback. We got to know that, but that's why you just don't read them comments after those shows, y'all.
Yeah, Tex was like, "Hey, did you see this comment?"
I'm not reading those.
No, we didn't, Tex, because only crazy people go and read the chat. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
The comments
I'm kidding. I try to read mine.
I try to, I try to read the comments, and I try to answer as many as I can. But, and if I remove a comment, it's not necessarily because it was bad. It's just, it may be that, it may be a little on the negative side, but I'm not trying to direct a narrative. I'm just, when you have a guest on, you have a certain responsibility, to, keep stuff respectable. And so if anybody gets offended that I remove a comment or something, I'm sorry, but but if you keep it respectful, you can disagree with somebody all day long. You ain't got to MF somebody up and down just to make a point.
Yeah.
In fact, your point will get lost in all that. So that's why we started. Oh, by the way, we started this new thing. We've had to crack down a little bit because we're doing. That's like I said something the other day. I said we're getting trolled, so we're doing something right. But if you start dropping F-bombs in the chat, the moderators are gonna, take it down, maybe put you in timeout. If you keep doing it, they're gonna block you. And I don't want anybody to be blocked on my show. I want you all to be able to say what you want to say, but keep it respectful, keep it clean. You can trust me, you'll make a bigger point if you do that than you will if you drop F-bombs, because as soon as they see that F-bomb, it's going away.
Or any kind of derogatory words. I saw some on my chat this past, was it Monday night?
Monday.
That was so inappropriate. I don't know who does that stuff. It was really bad. So, and I wasn't there to catch it. but thank goodness we had Randy backstage. Randy was doing it.
Yeah.
And Rob and Jason. So
Brian, yes. Yes, I am. No, but again, it's like we catch, I mean, I can tell you honestly off air, we catch a lot of crap because there are people who it's like, well, hold on, I thought y'all disagreed with him. Yeah. Well, then why'd you let him talk? Because I want to hear their position. I want to hear why. Now, if I'm on their show, yeah, I'll push back. We'll have that conversation. But if you're on the show, we want to hear what you think in its entirety. That's all. Because we can't. The problem is everyone's listening to respond. They're not listening to learn, and that's why we never get anywhere.
Yeah, we don't have guests on our show to judge them. We have guests on our show to get different opinions and different theories and different ideas, different beliefs out there. Doesn't mean we agree with every one of them, but we're going to put them out there. Just food for thought. You don't have to agree with it. I don't care. I don't agree with a lot of stuff. I mean, hell, I don't agree with Jason on some stuff. I don't agree with Jessica on some stuff.
You better. I'm just kidding.
She beat me to it. I was trying to figure out how to. I think
I'm watching you.
Right. This is not a if you're not with me, you're against me type thing. It's just that's not the way we roll. So if that's what you're looking for,
I've got the high ground.
What was that you said about us, Jason, the other day? We're no drama llamas around here.
Yeah, we're no drama llamas.
Not like that.
And we're not going to be drugging into somebody else's drama either. So don't even try to bait us with that when people try to come in there.
Yeah, we're here to have fun, and we're just here having fun, sharing our stories, and just maybe learning some things from each other and teaching some stuff. It's not that serious, everybody. We're just having fun, right? I mean, that's why I'm here. I'm just having a good time. So, and this remote viewing stuff, yes, I mean it can be very serious. I touch on very serious topics, but I do this for fun. This is like my number one hobby, y'all. I love remote viewing. It's my favorite thing besides going out in the woods, and Bigfooting and things like that, and getting visited by aliens in my room and things. But I'm kidding. That's not fun at all. But it's just fun. I would not do this if I was not having the time of my life right now. I really am. And so thank everybody for being here with us on this crazy ride. And I don't know, Tex, I'm excited, and I'm also just I'm not weirded out, but like I'm excited that what happened to you now, and that you understand, kind of like get the gist of where your time went that day.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that can be very traumatic, and I'm glad that I was able to tell you before the show, to kind of walk you into it, to immerse you before it got thrown on you tonight.
Yeah, and I like to do a lot of the stuff off cuff, like the second target you did, but when something like this, you never know how the person's going to react when they're hit with all this information, so and I mean, we were, I was looking through chat when we were talking about it, and there's so many people out there that's had these experiences.
Yes.
And I know, Jessica, you spoke of Travis Walton's experience, and even though Tex, you don't remember it and cannot recall it, your story and his is very similar in the fact that, they were healing you or changing you for the better. And I know Travis Walton personally got to spend some time with and still talk with him. For years, he never had an illness, was healthy. His IQ increased dramatically. So he had some long-standing positive effects after his abduction. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Kind of similar, too.
Well, who knows? We may be able to drag him on the show sometime.
Yes, I'm sure he'd love that. I'll have to reach out to him.
Well, please do. That'd be awesome. I could certainly have a conversation with him now.
Yes.
Yeah, y'all have a lot in common, Tex. I mean, that came up immediately in my data when I first started viewing this was fire in the sky, and I did not make that connection until after my target was done and the session was over. Oh my God, that's the Travis Walton movie in the book or whatever. I made that connection, so it's kind of a big deal. He was out in the middle of the woods, right? I mean, they were out in the wilderness.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were carving in fire breaks.
Yeah. Jason, check your email for an email from Mid-South.
Yeah, no, I have. As I said on the air that time, I'm waiting for the Firmamentalist. I want to have him and the Firmamentalist on. So as soon as I can get the Firmamentalist squared away, I will be reaching out to him Mid-South.
What is that about the flat Earth theory?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Not sure how I feel about that yet. According to remote viewers, it is a round globe. So I'm just saying, I don't know. I have not looked into that personally. Honestly, in the end, does it matter? I guess it does, but
it does to an extent. Well,
it does to some people. It does a lot of people.
I use Godzilla. Like, according to Godzilla, the Earth is round too. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I personally think it's round, but I don't know.
Let's see.
What's that?
You got a question. Are you sure this is the real Tex?
Oh, that's a great question. You know what? Next week's show. Wait, hold on. Let's pull the. I got so many messages there. I can't keep my fingers going on them. Jessica, are you sure this is a real Tex? Absolutely not. I don't know who that is. It may be a body double. I don't know. It could be a skinwalker or a shapeshifter. Could be that. This could be the lizard man of Skateboard Swamp. We don't know. Okay. Right, Jason?
No, it's entirely true. I mean, when we were all snuggled up together in his beard over the trip, I just had this sensation or feeling. It's like, man, something's going on. But, okay, so all kidding aside,
did he feel skelly?
You caught me in hibernation mode.
Was he cold? Cold to touch?
Yeah. Every once in a while, I'm like, you seem a little cold. Are you okay? But no, okay. So seriously, all kidding aside, and I mean this, all kidding aside, the first night when we stayed at the Red Roof Inn, which was something I can take off my my bucket list. Now I can finally say I stayed at the famous Red Roof Inn in Monroe, Louisiana. There was a period of time where I swear there was somebody else in the room. I was like, there is somebody else in this room. And I mean, I was looking for them, but I had a very strong sense that there was somebody else there. Like I couldn't see them, but I could feel them moving around, and I could tell like they'd come up to look at me. I could like it was as real as anything has ever been in the room. And at some point it left, but it's like I could feel something being in that. So
I just had a flash, Jason. I think I know who it was. It was room service. They came to fluff your towels.
Man, if Red Roof Inn actually had room service, I'm scared as to what that room service would look like. But yeah. No,
well, maybe it was me. Maybe it was me having an out of body experience when you caught me in hibernation mode. Thought I was dead.
Could have been. He could have been shape-shifting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've had that feeling too at a hotel room. I don't like hotel rooms, Jason.
I hate them.
There's a lot of suicides that happen there. Okay.
Yes.
A lot of deaths, killings, homicides.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was the hotel we stayed at last time.
Yeah. Oh, yo. Let's never speak of that again. Yeah, no, seriously, I can never sleep at hotels. I can't sleep at them ever. I can't. But I swear, like this was unique. Like I've been in plenty of hotels. I've never had such a strong sensation that there was somebody else in the room, and I could feel them moving around. Like I could feel the pattern.
Ooh, I don't like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like there was literally something going on in that room. Beyond Tex's glorious naked body. But it was, yeah. Yeah. Don't. It's like normally it'd be like, "Hey, Jessica, you want to remote view that?" No, you don't. I'm just telling you, you don't want to do that.
I remote viewed Tex in his birthday suit in a spacecraft. Okay, so we're good. We're good.
Like the Red Roof Inn, and it is nothing. Yeah, no, it was weird. It was weird. So I'm just saying.
My gosh.
Yeah, it's just. But again, so
yeah, hotels are weird.
Now I know they're keeping track on him.
They are. They absolutely are. Well, now Tex is chipped. Okay. Just like they say dogmen are chipped and collared and stuff. I mean, I've heard that before. So
well, we have laws on that one.
Well, I've got a friend of mine that had a dogman or hellhound encounter, however you want to look at it, that paced his car and stuck his head in the passenger side window and had a big old collar with a logging chain hanging off of it.
Wow.
So, he'll talk about it, but he don't like talking. It shakes him up when he talks about it for days.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, this is not the first I've heard of them being collared or having trackers on them. They've been spotted in a field and they're like, oh, they have these collars with trackers on them. And you're like, what? So something's going on for sure.
Yeah, well, you are right on that. You do not want to work at a black light.
No, don't ever do that. Ever.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, the last hotel we stayed at in Jefferson, I keep trying not to mention the name, but because we're end up with a damn lawsuit. But that's the only one that I've ever seen that was that blatant about burying the dead bodies in the pool. Their pool was filled up with dirt, level
with suspiciously 6 foot long and 2 and 3 foot wide bumps in it. Just saying.
Oh my god! They poured the concrete on top of the bodies. Is that what happened?
Oh, it was still just dirt,
no
like that. Yeah.
It was dirt.
Oh,
the whole pool was filled up with dirt.
Ooh, okay.
Level to the top.
That's odd. I might have had to grab me a shovel and just go dig a little bit.
It's like they're doing a body farm out at the pool, huh?
Have a dog or a methane probe out there and see what the hell's going on.
Oh man, times is tough, man. People are having to put gardens anywhere they can, huh? Yeah.
Gardens.
Exactly. That's the best fertilizer, right?
Right.
I wouldn't know. I have no idea. I have no idea.
Kristen, as a ER nurse.
Slash what am I trying to say?
I don't know. So they upgrade everything but your tongue? Is that what I'm hearing, Tex?
Female fatale, or what is it?
Femme fatale.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Jessica. See, Jason just likes to see me hang out there, dangling, swinging in the breeze.
I do. I really do.
He knew what you were saying the whole time, Tex.
I know.
Well, honestly, I thought he was going for formaldehyde, and it was like, I mean, that would be on point. But yeah, femme fatale, I can see that one. Yeah, no, y'all got that faster than I did. But I do like watching him just dangle in the breeze, trying to come up with a word. We get her fun when we can.
We do.
Well, Jessica, I really appreciate you doing this for me. It honestly, it's nice to have an answer.
Yeah.
I mean, I went for several years not really knowing and didn't know if I wanted to know, and so I just kind of put it in the back of my mind, and I kind of did it like I did my dogman encounter when I first had it. I just kind of pushed it back and compartmentalized it, and just loped right along. But it explains a lot of things, that I felt and experienced and stuff out there. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of showing me that it's all connected. A lot of all this paranormal stuff, you get into one thing, you go out looking for a dog man or Bigfoot, you get abducted. Same as me. The first time I ever went out on a Bigfoot expedition, I had an ET experience in UFOs. So, it's just something that people need to be aware of. You go out looking for one thing, we're going to find a whole bunch of other stuff. Kristen knows better than anybody about that. So, yeah, it's just part of it.
You were saying you were actually behind the camera on the porthole thing.
I was. I was. I was able to watch it, film it. Thank goodness I was able to film it because most people would not even believe this occurred. So I have a little bit of proof to back up what I'm saying. So we've had some strange things, people vanishing right in front of our eyes, which is we're thinking a possible portal incident. As we mentioned earlier, Bob turning into a ball of light and shooting across the field. Also, weird things happen to Bob.
I was about to say, is it unusual for Bob to turn into a ball of light? Because
not anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's had an incident where he was walking a very well-known trail that we use, and he went from point A to point B and was like, "How did I get here? I shouldn't be here yet." And that was the incident where he looked back at his breadcrumbs on his GPS tracker, and he had just been all through the woods. I mean, he had went from across the creek and back across the creek and up the hill, down the hill, and I got to see it with my own eyes. Very strange, and then it mysteriously deleted after we saw that.
Interesting.
Yeah. But he was not wet. I mean, if you cross this creek, you would be soaking wet, and he didn't have a drop of water on him. So, not sure if maybe it could have been the electronic equipment, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about electronic equipment. And, you know, us talking about having problems with it and everything, people are used to hearing, you know. But when we was out center at Brown Springs one time, we had some hunters come in and they had some cameras set up around down in the bottoms and stuff. And they were coming down to check. They were coming down to check the cameras for the sole reason that they were having to replace the batteries every week. Now, in a trail camera, you shouldn't have to replace batteries for a month, at least. But they were having to do it every week because their batteries kept dying.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, very odd.
And
well, you know,
but
that's interesting you're bringing up batteries because that was in my data with your experience, Tex, was that your body is a battery. Okay.
Thank you, Overbuilt.
Thank you, Overbuilt Automotive. Ask Tex, have you been abducted by any? Let me pull this up. Have you been abducted by any of the wild Amazonian, let's just say barbarians from the dinosaur hill? FYI, it was a B movie. Have you, Tex?
Well,
Overbuilt needs to know.
I was trying to keep that secret, but you know.
Now's the time to come clean, Tex.
It's time for us to hear about it.
Yep.
We're all friends here.
Is that why you keep going back down there?
What's
Hold on,
the
I
real
gotta
reason,
look up and
Tex?
see if that's a real thing. Hold on.
Oh man!
Y'all keep talking.
Thank you, Overbuilt.
Appreciate it.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
What was it? Avoid barbarian.
Nymphoid.
Nymphoid barbarian.
You never know what we're gonna get in these chats. I love it. We have like I said, we have a good time here. We can't take everything too seriously. Okay.
Exactly.
Holy crap! It's real.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch.
Well, of course it is. Our viewers know what they're talking about, y'all. Come on.
Yep.
Our audience is on point here at Texas Front Porch and the Cryptid Huntress.
Would you like me to read the IMDb description?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe not.
It's definitely not rated. Yeah.
Is it bad?
It just says, in a post-Armageddon world, a young woman finds herself in a fight for survival against mutant cavemen, dinosaurs, and other prehistoric animals.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
That's not bad. I thought it was going to be way worse. That's not bad.
So did I. I was like, I'm like, okay. It has a 2.7 star rating.
All right. Well, that's
what I'm saying.
Wild Amazon. I mean, look, Texas married Overbuilt. Okay. Sorry. Just got to say. Maybe before he got married.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You know, talking about B movies, y'all ever tried to watch that movie called Rubber?
Lord, no.
It's not what you think. It's about a psychopath. Now get this, about a psychopathic serial killing tire.
Okay.
That has this
a tire.
Yeah, that has the ability to blow people up with
hot air.
with psychic powers.
Ooh, that sounds like my kind of movie.
Yeah.
Psychic tire.
Hour and a
Dr.
half of your
Strange
life
tire.
Hour and a half that you will never get back.
Oh my God. Tex, you are a battery. You are a double D3X.
Now wait just a damn minute.
Come on, werewolf.
Love it.
They're not double D's, okay?
Oh my God.
They're a big C at best.
A very full C. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my God. Oh, what are we talking about here? Okay. Well, you guys, this is a lot of fun, but this is only going to go downhill faster if we stick around longer. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Call it now.
yes, let's call it. Well, everybody, thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Tex, I hope that you found a little bit of comfort in knowing what happened to you, even though it was a little uncomfortable. So, yeah, it's been a learning experience for everybody. So, thank you, Tex. Thank you for putting yourself out there tonight.
Well,
We appreciate it.
I appreciate you doing that for me, and it does answer a lot of stuff for me. And Kristen, again, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Looking forward to great things. Are you
Yes.
now? Are you? Will you be? I don't know if you can answer this yet or not. Will you be on next week's brunch,
Let
or
me see.
do we know yet?
That's right. I've got to send you guys my schedule. On the 7th, on that Thursday, I'm actually working, but I mean, I could get up. I could get up.
No.
I might look a little sleepy-eyed, but I can get up.
Well, I'm going to leave that up to you, but I'm just telling you, you don't have to. But
All right.
if you're feeling froggy, you want to make your first show, go for it.
Kristen, we have a plethora of shows for you to be on. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, there are plenty of shows. You can come on my show. We're going to have you on every show. Okay. So get ready. Yes. Whenever you're free, we got you. Okay. Yeah. Well, Jason, thank you for being here tonight. It's always a pleasure. Kristen, welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm so glad you're here. This is going to be so much fun.
I'm glad
so
to
much
be
fun.
here. Love you guys. Y'all are awesome.
All right. Well, we love you too. And to everybody that showed up tonight in the chat, we love you guys. Thank y'all for being here so much. Tex, it's been awesome. You guys, we will see y'all. I guess, join me tomorrow night. I'm going to be on Spaced Out Radio. I have Frank Jacob. He's in Germany, and we're going to talk about time travel and CERN. They're about to ramp up CERN next week again. So we're going to be talking about timeline jumps and shifts and edits and all this stuff like that tomorrow night on Spaced Out Radio. On Sunday, I have Ryan Edwards, a friend of our show here, coming on to talk about cryptids. So y'all don't miss it. 10 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night and Sunday. Okay. So we'll see y'all next week. Other than that, y'all join me tomorrow night. And everybody, thank y'all for being here. Right. We'll see y'all next time. Bye, Kristen. All right, bye, y'all.